This show represents the boss in all of us. So can you dig it, strangers? Let's get started. Greetings, everyone. Today on a little science or something like that, a little analogy of some stuff I went through. But to everyone, I had a good Thanksgiving actually, so I'll get that out. I saw my nephew, which was real good. I'm the oldest of three. My middle brother has a son. He's only a handful, but that's what you get for having our genetic code inside of you. You get the rambunctious types. But other than that, this is actually a how would you describe this? What I'm about to say. I'll let you describe it. I'm just gonna put life being homeless is the title. I was homeless for 2 years and half a year, two and a half years, and my life was pretty. I didn't mind it. What I know now, I should have known back then, but I was naive. I was ignorant. I was an 18-year-old kid. I'm 23 now, but as an 18-year-old, I thought, I knew everything, but I really didn't. When I became homeless by choice and by other reasons, it's like regular thing. You get in fights or something like that. I got into a huge fight and just walked out. Came back after the person apologized. We both knew they apologized for saying stuff like that over anger, because when you say stuff in anger, you say hurtful things out of anger. So, but back to the story. When I was homeless, I didn't take it as the gift it was giving me. I look back on it now and I realize that I was actually happy being homeless, living out on the streets and stuff like that. What I know now, what I've seen on the computer, I wish I would have known then what I know now, because it would have helped me to keep that lifestyle. I thought when I first started, it was awkward, it was hard. I barely slept through my first week. It was so difficult to do that. I was up. The shelter I was at was just a nightmare for me. I swear it was just awkward. I felt so out of place. But I grew to accepting it, that was the lifestyle I have to get used to. That's the lifestyle. So it wasn't bad. Sure, the shelter I was staying at was a complete shit, and I could tell the hatred was in there. It was so intense that you could cut it with a knife. Everyone felt like they were just so tensed up. But I brought fun. I brought an outgo on things. I come in there and say, "Hey, what's up, homies? What's going on? What up?" I come in there smiling and like I haven't got a care in the world. And I realized that, it didn't bother me that I was like that. A lot of people said I was childish because of the way I acted. Every time I didn't get my way, I cried. But I was actually following the rules, to be really honest. See, the shelter I was staying at had a rule that if you wanted to watch something, you have to ask the person in charge. So I did. I followed the rules every time to the letter, but people always kept saying like I didn't follow, like I was just being a crybaby, but I followed the rules. That's the rules that were set out for us, and I followed them. If I wanted to watch something, I have to ask. And no one was ever out in the lounging area watching TV or nothing. Maybe one guy or two, and I asked, "Hey, you guys mind if I watch something, like a movie or something?" And they said, "Yeah, we got no problem with that." But then all of a sudden these guys start coming in and it's like, "Dude, what the hell you want? What's going on with this?" So I always got fed up with that. And one night, I stayed up real past late because I asked the person working that, hey, can I stay up Saturday night and watch anime known as Bleach, because I wasn't gonna miss it. It's always hard to find it on the computer, and I got kicked out. I got actually close to getting kicked off the computer at the library for a stupid thing, but I really don't care because that's in the past. But one guy decides to come in and change it just as it's about to start. He changes it. I'm like, what the hell is this? So here I am. I'm going back and forth. I'm getting pissed. I'm mad because I was like, I literally said that. I even said that. And then we got to a huge argument. But yeah, so that's happened when I was homeless. Another thing, when I learned that my second time being homeless, when I walked out completely and I started my life just by myself, I said, that's it, this is my life, I'm gonna start it, get the hell away from me. I went to the South, Huntsville, Alabama, and stayed there for about, I think, a year before I decided to move up north again. I was looking for a tent because I figured out that if I had a tent, I could live anywhere. I had no money, and I couldn't get a tent. I even went to some places that were giving stuff out, and they didn't never have tents. So I know that if I had sorry, Naruto's on. I haven't seen it. I think it's a movie one. I don't know which one it is. It's on Cartoon Network. No, looks like Soul Eater. But I would have found out that if I had a tent, I would never stop being homeless. I would have never stopped. Sure, I'm on disability now, but you know, because of this, and then heck, if this stops, if this really stopped and I really had no problem no more, I'm a diabetic. Without this income, I can't afford my insulin. It was nuts. I mean, it was just crazy. Everything I know now, I should have stopped. I mean, that's always the weirdest thing, you know. It's like, once you come into the future, you really say to yourself, damn, wish I could change it, but you know, it's in the past. You know, there's really nothing you can do about it. So move more into the future. And you know, I don't mind that what I've done through my past, because it's made me who I am. So yeah, I mean, if I decided to become homeless again, I choose in a heartbeat, because I believe that you are a free man when you are homeless. You are as free as you can be. You have no bills, you have no responsibilities, nothing. You can move whenever you want to. No one is tying you down to one place. You are able to pack up and go. Vanish without a trace. No one in maybe 2 weeks time, people that's telling you and forget you, or maybe a week or 3 days. So yeah, it's just, yeah, so it's like you really didn't have nothing tying you down, and you could go anywhere you want. I mean, if you wanted to go towards the ocean, you could trek it, you know, from one side of the state to the other. I just got lucky with my trekking. The longest I've ever trekked was from Indianapolis to Richmond, Indiana, and that took me about a day. But I got lucky because I had police officers helping me out. My legs buckled under the pressure of everything in it, and a cop saw me do that and turned around and actually picked me up, and she called ahead and drove, and we had her cop buddies drive me through their districts. So I got there pretty safe in one day. But it was a cold day. I knew it was cold because of being in the north. But I mean, if I had to, I'd stay in the south where it's warmer and just trek it everywhere instead of, you know. It's not much, but yeah, I would have chosen to stay homeless if I would have had a tent and a sleeping bag. I would have said, fuck it, why go into civilization anymore when I could just stay homeless? It's not like it's not gonna bother me, you know. Steal a Bic lighter. You can always have a fire. There's always soup kitchens you can eat, you know. So I think that being homeless is not a bad thing, and never should be frowned upon. I mean, like I said, if I had a choice, I would choose it. Wouldn't bother me one bit, because I take it as, I see it as you being the freest man ever. You are a free man when you are homeless. No one tells you what to do, and you can be your own man, or a woman. Of course, the hardest thing is the children, which I understand our laws dictate that a child, but I still don't see why. I guess if you really don't put them into school, you can really do it that way. I mean, as long as the children are healthy and they're eating, I really don't see a point. They got the sanitation's correct and everything, so I really don't see a problem with if people choose that lifestyle. But I mean, that's just me. I mean, I'm not gonna dictate, say, hey, do this, but I'm not gonna. I mean, I'll tell my child the story and tell them everything of what I've done, how I've lived, how I would have lived, what I should have done, and stuff like that. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just a crazy day when I was homeless. I even had a job selling magazines with this stupid bunch of fuckers. Bunch of losers, if you ask me. I mean, they were just selling magazines, young entrepreneurs or some dumbass thing like that. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, when I decided I was like, well, that was it. I'm gonna quit this and go back on the streets, because this ain't even worth it. I'm not a salesperson. I can't go up to you and sell you a magazine. I can't sell you shit, because I don't have that personality. I'm a straight, honest person. I mean, at the time, I told the people, hey, look, I'm just selling magazines, dude. You gonna buy some or not? I mean, there's nothing I can do. But they always had a thing where where's your annual quota? Then they have this rule where if you don't sell magazines, you sleep on the floor. Didn't bother me. I slept on the floor since I was a child. Had beds. Just chose not to sleep on them because the ground was cold and it was much easier to sleep there. Nothing really wrong. But I know that if I ever catch one of those kids, I'm gonna say it to my face: get a real fucking job and leave that stupid loser. As they said, why don't you go? So you want to go back to being a homeless trash? Oh, he was my ticket to get the hell out of there. If I would have said, fuck you, I'm gonna beat your ass, and literally start kicking his ass, I would have lost my opportunity to meet home. So I didn't take that opportunity. So I got a bus ticket and took it back to Indianapolis. Of course, then I got suckered into a freaking thing with a guy. Won't do that again. You gotta be very careful when you're homeless. You can run into some shaky people. Conned my dad $50. Fucker didn't even drive me, not even close to Richmond, and I had to walk the rest of the way. My freaking feet, right here. See this little padded skin right there where your finger bends like that? I think, yeah, where you can bend your toes. The skin under that toe broke and started bleeding. Yeah, that was painful. It was a nightmare. So I'm like, yeah, if you're going to become homeless, be very cautious of who you go around. Like when I was in Huntsville, Alabama, I was walking with this kid, and we were just walking, just taking a walk to the college to get on the computer. So I ran across the street because I knew how to run across streets all the time, because I played chicken with the cars a lot, so I knew the opportunities when to go and when not to go. The guy behind me didn't make it. He was about 3 minutes behind me. So it's like this. I was here and he was all the way back here. So by the time I crossed the street, I was good, but when he crossed the street, he got hit by a car and died. Yeah, that's some scary shit right there. I come back, I was like, what happened? I said, this guy, I don't remember his name, but he said he got ran over by a car. I said, are you serious? He was like right behind me. I passed him when I was walking real fast. He says, yeah, man, car hit him, crushed him. damn, dude. If I stayed behind him, I would have saw the whole thing. I would have saw the car smacked him, crushed him. All that blood and guts, man. That would have been like, whew, gave me a freaking nightmare. Of course, the Huntsville, Alabama one was not bad though. For their shelters, I could get to this. I could get their shelters. It was pretty good. But yeah, I think that's good for this story. As once again the child says, it's. I actually forgot what the title is. Homeless Life. If that's not what I said in the beginning, it's gonna be called Homeless Life. How I lived it. Alright, people. You take care and be safe, y'all. Y'all, what the hell? I ain't no country dumb boy. I'm Yankee. Take care.